Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The service of Big Bus Tour is inaugurated in the Vilayah of Salalah to encourage tourism. Turkish jet strikes several Daesh targets in Syria to remove potential threats to Turkey. And forces loyal to the Yemeni president control more areas around Aden as coalition fighter jets strike Houthi positions. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President El-Baji Qaed El-Sabsi of Tunisia on his country's Republic Day anniversary. His Majesty the Sultan also sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Abdullah Yameen of Maldives on his country's National Day. In the Vilayah of Salalah, the service of Big Bus Tour was inaugurated from touristic commercial complex Salalah Gardens Mall. The bus will provide service for tourists who want to tour around the governorate of Dhofar. The inauguration ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Sheikh Salim bin Ofaid Al-Shanfari, Chairman of Dhofar Municipality. The inauguration of Big Bus will facilitate the visitors and tourists to enjoy the extraordinary climate of the Kharif season. Within the annual scientific forums, which organized by the Center of Imam Muhammad bin Abdullah Al-Khalili in the Vilayah of Bahla, the center held a third scientific forum which discussed the life and thoughts of Sheikh Amir bin Khamis Al-Malki. The events of forum was presided over by Abdullah bin Rashid Al-Siabi, Vice Chairman of Supreme Court. The sessions of gathering discussed the role of Sheikh Amir Al-Malki in judiciary and his interest in science of fiqh and iftah, in addition to his position as a scientist. With the aim of introducing information services to tourists heading to the governorate of Dhofar, the Ministry of Tourism opened a touristic data center in the Vilayah of Adam for the third consecutive year. Information services includes maps, leaflets and publications. The center will give information on best hotels and other public facilities in the governorate. Another goal of establishing touristic data center is to give advices, guidelines, suggestions and alternatives to tourists. It is worth mentioning that the Ministry of Tourism established a number of temporary touristic data centers in various vilayas of the Sultanate. The centers will provide 24 hours touristic information during the Kharif season. Prime Minister Ahmed Davutoglu vowed today Turkey would continue operation against Daesh groups and Kurdish militants after it bombed Daesh targets in Syria and made nearly 300 arrests. Davutoglu told reporters in Ankara in televised comments that the operations that were started today are not a single event but a process. Davutoglu said 297 people, including 37 foreigners, have been arrested in nationwide raids against suspected members of Daesh, Kurdistan Workers' Party and other militant groups. Earlier, Turkish Air Force jets had launched their first strikes on Daesh positions in Syria, following a suicide bombing in Turkey blamed on Daesh group that claimed 32 lives. Davutoglu said that the warplanes had been 100% successful in eliminating their targets. He added that whichever terrorist organization poses a threat to the borders of the Turkish Republic, measures will be taken without hesitation. Syria's foreign minister said today it was too early to hold another United Nations-backed peace conference on Syria, indicating the dim prospects for diplomacy as the UN envoy wraps up 3 months of consultations on the war. Battles were fought once again in the city of Daraa between Syrian forces and opposition rebels. This came after opposition and Nusra Front launched an attack on districts controlled by government forces. In Daraa countryside, 17 people were killed in a shelling by the Syrian forces on areas controlled by the opposition. Favorable rains have helped Syria's 2015 wheat harvest, but the country's food insecurity is worsening overall because of the war. The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, and the World Food Programme, WFP, said in a report that food production remains way below its pre-crisis level as the ongoing conflict continues to push more people into hunger and poverty. Around 9.8 million people in Syria are estimated to be food insecure, with 6.8 million of these severely food insecure. Severely food insecure means a level of need that requires external food aid. Since January this year alone, more than 500,000 people have been displaced, which badly disrupts farming activities and the food market. FAO said urgent donor support is needed to ensure farmers can meet the upcoming cereal planting season beginning in October. U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter called Iraq's Kurdish fighters a model for the kind of foes needed to defeat Daesh group, as he made an unannounced visit today to the capital of Iraq's Kurdistan region. While Iraq's army has struggled, the Kurdish region's security forces, or Peshmerga, have rolled back Daesh militants in northern Iraq and expanded the formal boundary of their semi-autonomous region. Carter met the Kurdistan region's President Masoud Barzani. He also spoke with U.S. and coalition troops advising and training the Peshmerga. Carter also visited Iraqi capital Baghdad, Saudi Arabia, Jordan and Israel. Still to come in our news bulletin. Titanic of the Med wreck lures thousands of divers to Cyprus. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. 2 airplanes landed in Aden today, bringing humanitarian aid to the southern Yemeni city only hours after its airport came under rocket fire from rebels. Overnight rocket attacks on Aden killed 3 people and wounded 57, according to a health official in the city. The rockets were fired from North Aden, where the Houthi rebels still have a presence after being driven out of most of the city by fighters loyal to the exiled president. The Saudi-led military coalition that backs Hadi carried out airstrikes on Houthi positions in the area during the night. Elsewhere, coalition warplanes struck rebel positions in Amran, north of the rebel-held capital Sana'a, and Damar in central Yemen. A second round of peace talks between the Afghan government and Taliban representatives will be hosted by China next week. U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter said today that a U.S. airstrike recently killed a senior al-Qaeda operational commander in eastern Afghanistan. Carter added that the 2 other violent extremists were killed in the airstrike in the Barmal districts of Paktika province. An iron and steel colossus that sank 35 years ago off Cyprus is now considered one of the world's biggest shipwreck dives. More details in the following report.
Hoping to take a closer peek at one of Larnaca's hidden treasures, these divers are on a quest to explore the Zenobia, a Swedish ferry that sank on her maiden voyage to Cyprus more than 30 years ago. Now a marine-protected artificial reef, the wreck helps enhance the biodiversity of the area and restock dwindling fish life. It's also become a magnet for divers from all over the world. Andre is only 16, but he already has 205 dives under his belt, and he's pleased with dive number 206.
It is one of the biggest wrecks in the world. Yeah, also it's very nice that the weather is good, you don't have any current, so you get just pleasure to travel all around this ship.
The Zenobia has contributed to the creation of an alternative form of tourism on the island, diving tourism, the main point of discussion at this conference, with participants like Jonathan Wilson from the Cyprus Dive Center Association. His idea: sink another wreck to create one more artificial reef and bring more money to the economy.
The Zenobia, we believe, brings in around 14 million euros a year. Another wreck of around 100 metres long should bring in somewhere between 6 million. Even if you call it 3 million each year, it's very small amount of money to buy a wreck and sink it, 300,000, to bring in 3 million euros each year for the next 20, 30, 50 years.
The Zenobia is handled by the Ministry of the Environment, which says it's working closely with the Ministry of Tourism. And the minister is fully aware of the site's potential.
We are in the process of creating a network of marine protected areas and artificial reefs. We will definitely spend money in the area close to the wreck there.
Non-divers also get to admire the wreck, like on this free boat ride, part of a Zenobia Week organized by the Larnaca Tourism Board. In this cramped space below deck, tourists are hoping to catch a glimpse of the ship through tiny glass windows. Income from tourism accounts for around 12% of Cyprus's GDP and is credited for being instrumental in the country's 3-year battle against recession, with sites like the Zenobia helping breathe new life into its bailed-out economy.
Now for the general weather forecast, cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas and the nearby mountains of the Governorate of Doha with chances of intermittent drizzle. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with chances of clouds and scattered rainfalls over the Hajar Mountains and the nearby areas toward the afternoon. Winds will be easterly to southeasterly light to moderate along the coast of Sea of Oman and the Governorate of Musandam, while it will be south to southwesterly light to moderate, occasionally active at the coast of Arabian Sea. Seas along the coast of Arabian Sea will be rough with a maximum wave height of 4 meters, and the rest of the coast it will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The service of Big Bus Tour is inaugurated in the Vilayet of Salalah to encourage tourism. Turkish jets strike several Daesh targets in Syria to remove potential threats to Turkey. And forces loyal to the Yemeni president control more areas aroad Aden as coalition fighter jet strike Houthi positions. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, thank you for watching and good night.